Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here we have a Gp800r. It's a 03 model, and as you can tell, it's in pretty rough shape, as you can see with this fancy dandy mirror, top notch right here. And seat looks pretty bad, but other than that, you know, some cosmetic stuff here and there. But for that model, it's, I guess, pretty decent. Seat needs to be replaced. So, as you can tell, it's a two-seater, but it's got more serious issues than you think. The pump is gone, and that's how I received it. So, you can see that this looks all pretty nasty. It was all off, and it's been sitting like that for some time. But check out them splines, completely chewed up. So they are completely done. That's the reduction nozzle, and everything's pretty much here. So we have to replace that. We have to replace the mid shaft in there. And we have all the parts sitting right there in the box. So now we're going to go inside and take the mid shaft off and the housing that sits on the side of the wall, and go ahead and take it all apart. But other than that, this ski actually starts and runs pretty good for the fact that it's been sitting pretty much for some time now. So let's dive into it and fix it up, or we can check out the parts that I got. Alrighty guys, so here's the mid shaft. It's all completely off, so you'll have to remove 4 bolts that hold the engine mount. Right there, and one right here, and one in the back, 2 in the back actually, and just slightly loosen this exhaust coupling, and then move it slightly back, probably about 18 millimeters, and this thing just comes up sideways right here. Then remove that greaser fitting. Well, it's actually a line like this. And then I plugged it up with a screw, and I'm gonna give this thing a good bath, wash it up, and yeah, we'll go from there, see how good we can get this thing looking. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna give it a nice clean. So we're gonna wash it, we're gonna pressure wash it. So I start spraying everything down with some purple powder. Alrighty guys, as you can tell, this is after a good cleaning. Much better. Could do some more scrubbing, but this is pretty good for now. We'll get the job done, get the shafts put all back in. So we still gotta go get some new spark plugs just to be safe, and everything else is all pretty good. All the fuel lines seem to be recently replaced, and everything's top notch. They're still nice and soft and flexible, not brittle. So we'll leave all that for now. And as you can tell, the whole ski just turned out much gooder. But other than that, pretty much the same thing. And we cleaned up in here nice and good. As you see, maybe the tank and everything was all dirty. And just like inside there, you can see everything nice and clean. But other than that, It'd be nice to change this mat right here with something better. But other than that, everything looks pretty good. We cleaned the pumps, we cleaned these things, the cowls or whatever you call them, the whole storage things. Cleaned the reduction nozzle and the steering nozzle. Everything got cleaned up just as good as possible, and washed everything out pretty good. Came out super good. As you can tell, there's a few little broken parts, which this whole side piece is all broken. And I think you can change this side. So if anybody's got this piece right here in red, would be awesome. Hit me up. Also, this piece right here is broken. So if anybody's got this piece, would be nice to acquire that one. And the mirror for this side would be pretty cool. But other than that, everything's pretty much there. So we'll go ahead and start putting all these parts right here into that thing right there. We're building that pump, and let's go. Alrighty guys, so back to the mid shaft and the pump housing bracket. And another reason why you want to replace the whole unit instead of just replacing, let's say, bearings or something. So you have this right here where the seals start deteriorating from the bracket, and it could start potentially leaking into the hole, which just go ahead and remove this shaft. You didn't have to press it all out, since our shaft got sheared with the, it goes on that piece right here and it slides into that piece, and it's all sheared, both of them. You can see inside, and might as well just measure what it measures right here, and measures about 10.7. so that shaft needs to stick out about 10.7 right here. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and hopefully everything's gonna turn out pretty good. So we'll have to remove this piece and slap it on there onto the new shaft. Alrighty guys, let's go. Let's start doing that. And the same as that part, we'll have to remove all that stuff from the pump and the impeller, and we have to replace the bearings in that part. So we'll go ahead and start preparing everything and start doing that. Alrighty, so I was able to just hold it on these slots right here and shove this thing in between and give it some good leverage, and I was able to pop this thing right off, and it unscrews just easily. So now we just got to find a press in our new shaft right here, and we should be golden. So let's go. Before we get the mid shaft pressed in, we're gonna go ahead and start trying to rebuild this pump. So we have to take off this nut and the shaft. So we're gonna go ahead and use a 22 millimeter. I'm gonna impact it and remove that nut and go from there. Alrighty guys, so I had to use something like this to beat on the shaft. Since we're replacing the shaft, I didn't mind hitting on this end, and we are replacing all these bearings also. So slides out pretty good now, just like that. So now we need to get all these bearings out, press them all out, remove this impeller, and start slapping it on the new one. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so I got the bearings all out. So basically there's two seals coming from this side, so I popped those out. Then I took something like this and I beat it down and popped the bearings out. First bearing came out, then the second was this little, I guess, shaft part or spacer, and then the last bearing. And basically a reverse assembly is the same way. So we're gonna go ahead and slap our see, where's our rebuild kit? Just like this. That's our rebuild kit right here. And we'll put it all back together. Alrighty guys, so I had a broken little stud right here from the cone piece. So got me some heat. Gave it about 30 seconds to a minute on this end right here. And then boom. Check it out. It's coming right off. But when I first clamped it on, it wouldn't want to budge. That red Loctite really grips. So, there you go. No drilling, no nothing. Luckily, I still had a little piece where I can grab on, so that was a good thing. And there you have it. Well guys, there you have it. Just like that, got this thing, this little cheesy vise, clamped it down to a table, and this should work pretty good. And got this big old adjustable wrench right here, and we'll just try to pry it open. Just like that. And this thing is loose. Basically, it's righty-loosey instead of lefty-loosey. And there you have it. And this thing just spins right off. Just like that. Boom. Alrighty guys, let's start assembling. Alrighty guys, so here we have the mid shaft pressed into our housing. So got 11 mils sticking out. That's what the previous one had. And other than that, that should be pretty good to go. Now we're just gonna give it some blue thread locker and install this coupling right here. And it should be pretty good to go. And we'll tighten it down. Put the washer the right way. Just like that. But you get the point. And then I'm going to tighten it all down. And it should be good to go. Just like that. Alrighty guys, I'm going to tighten it down with some adjustable wrench holding here. And then something long going between here. And then just tighten it down. Alright, let's go. Alrighty guys, just like that, this thing's all good to go. So this thing's gonna be ready to be put back into the jet ski. Alrighty guys, so here we are set up to rebuild this pump housing. And basically this is the replacement shaft, which I think this thing has been replaced before. It seems like somebody has been replacing this thing. So it looks pretty similar, or even though more identical. And that's the part number for the shaft right there. And here's the jet pump rebuild. So basically it's a rebuild for that. And we still have to find this piece. We need this piece, and we need the screw or the bolt and the washer, just like that. So that's pretty much what I need to do. And I need to install the bearings in there, and it goes in a sequence. So there's a thicker bearing and a smaller bearing, so it makes sense which one goes where. Because of this, you can tell that one goes here and one goes here. Alrighty guys, so let's start assembling this thing. Alrighty guys, so got this all set up. What I need to replace, there's gaskets for this, and then there's gaskets for, or the seals for the cone, which I don't have the cone just yet. Should be coming in. Got one of the studs out, so we're good to go. And the shaft's all ready to go. So now we need to grease everything up and start pressing bearings in, pressing in the mid shaft or the shaft itself, and start slapping it into the jet ski. Let's go. Alrighty guys, got one bearing in, got the spacer in, and now it's time to push in this last bearing in right here. Goes in like butter. Alrighty, so now we got to install the shaft from the other side, and we should be good to go. Which I'm going to freeze the shaft and give a little bit of heat on the bearings on this side, and we should be good to go. Let's go. Alrighty guys, just like that, the shaft has been pressed in. Went in just as easy as it could get. Basically, I put this thing in the freezer for like most 20 minutes, the shaft. Then I heated this bearing for about up to about 10 seconds, just going in a circle. And then this bearing, I heated it up and pushed it after, and it just slid in. No beating, no nothing. Just everything went in perfectly and easily. So this is super nice. No beating, no nothing. So the pump is basically rebuilt. Now we just gotta slide in all our seals and everything like that, which won't be a problem. Goes in, I believe, like this on this side, and this one goes in this way or this way, but I'll confirm and we'll go from there. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so the seals go facing up with the manufacturer numbers, so you can see the manufacturer number right there, so they face up. So we'll slide them on, and same as this one, this is the thicker one, which you can tell the manufacturer number right here. Can't really focus, but right there, and faces up. So we will need to lube up the lips right here on the seals, and we'll slide them on in there, and we will be good to go. So I'm going to use something long that goes over this shaft, and I'll beat them on in there until they go flush against that shoulder. And yeah, that should be good to go. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so everything's put back together. Install the seals, as you can tell right there. So the end of my jack handle worked just right, and I was able to push it all back in. So that's that. Now we're installing the nut. So we are gonna do that. I put a little bit of Loctite on there, and now we're gonna give it some uggas, and hopefully she lives for many more years. All right, I gotta hold the other end, but you got the point. Alrighty guys, so we got a few more things to do. So we gotta slide this washer in. So it has this little recessed bore. It slides in this way, and it goes all the way up, and you can see that little spot that covers up the seal, and there's a little flange right there. Just like that. Now we'll give the threads some Loctite for the impeller, just like that. And we'll install the impeller. And since it's reverse threads, so it goes the other way. Just like that. And now we need to hold it and get this puppy tightened. So let's go. Alrighty guys, so we got the pump or the impeller pretty much all put back together. So basically we gotta slide this housing with the other side. Basically right here, the sleeve or the steel insert. Gotta install that one, but we gotta clean out this hole right here. And pretty much that'll be it. And waiting on the cone. When that gets in, we'll fill it up with grease. But for now, we're gonna put it away and wait for it. And we got these two seals that we gotta replace, which go on the cone. And I believe so. So we'll go ahead and put this on a back burner. But pretty much everything is done for the driveline. Just put it back all into the ski and hear this thing purr again. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so I got everything ready to start assembling the mid shaft. So everything's pretty much put back together, as you can tell, and had to move the engine just a little bit back. So you basically have to unbolt the whole engine from the hole. And now we're basically ready to slap this thing on. Do not forget to put the rubber piece right here, and we'll add grease later on. Also, you have to add the two O-rings inside there and just grease them up a little bit so the way it doesn't slide on dry when the splines go through there. And yeah, we'll go ahead and install this thing and start tightening down the engine. Alrighty guys, all that is installed. The engine is completely mounted. Everything's good to go. Then come to take off the filter cover or the carburetor, air filter, whatever. And look what I find. Look how dirty it is inside. So looking on the inside, it looks pretty nasty. So I'm gonna go ahead, take the pipe off, check the carburetors, make sure they're all clean. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and probably replace all the oil lines and check out the fuel lines. Probably do the same. And just to make sure this is a good runner. for the beginning of the next season now. Alrighty guys, so the exhaust is finally off. It looks pretty nice and crusty over here. See, these are the fuel lines. So it seems like it had some water in here or something like that, but we won't know for sure. But we'll go ahead and remove this air filter and look and see how it looks on the inside of the carbs. And then maybe we'll just take off the sides of the diaphragms right here and check it out without taking the carbs off. And we'll see how it looks on this side first. But, yep. We will replace all these oils, lines, and stuff like that. Make sure they got good stuff in them. But, other than that, let's go. Alrighty guys, so as you can tell, the oil lines have been replaced. Fuel lines are gonna stay. So as long as our oil lines, and you can see that blue, it's already primed, ready to go. And basically, we gotta slap the exhaust back on and button everything back together. So let's go. Alrighty guys, got my pump cone and the screws finally in. So I need to pack this thing up all in grease and put some grease in there, pack the bearing a little bit, and we slap this thing back together and put that piece on, the wear ring, seal it all up with some silicone and put some bolts in it and tie this puppy all back together and get ready for first initial startup with the pump. Alrighty guys, let's go pumping. Alrighty guys, got the bearings and everything packed up pretty good. Pack this puppy up. So now we're gonna just slap this thing in there and hopefully we'll be able to get this thing running. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna bolt this puppy down and hope for the best. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so I got my pump laying out right here and got some gasket maker right here on this side and on this side. So we're gonna slide this thing on here and shove it up in there and hope for the best. So let's go. Let's get this thing going. Alrighty guys, so I'm gonna put some grease on the splines right here so that way when it goes through those seals it doesn't damage anything. But I'm gonna throw some of this marine grease and we should be good to go. Alrighty guys, sealed up my rear of the reduction nozzle and getting ready to slap it in. As you can tell, can't forget the 10mm screw right there by that black tube. Got that ready. So now we're gonna press this thing on just like that and slap our bolts in and hope for the best. Alrighty guys, don't forget about those 4 bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one's kind of hard to get to with this plate on, but I was able to slide it in with the magnet, pull it out, and then put this on a magnet, slide it on, and was able to go through this hole right here with the extension right through there and tighten that puppy up. So now we'll put the reduction nozzle and be good to go. Let's do this. Alrighty guys, so the whole pump is put back together. Zip tied right here. Put a little warm gear strap thing on there. Grease the whole line right there for the trim. Then also grease the steering cable at this end. And everything else is pretty much connected. This is the pisser that pops out right here. And let's see what else. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. Good to go. And should be here shortly trying to fire this thing. Also, I went ahead and greased the Zerk fitting for the mid-shaft housing. And everything's good to go. So we're pretty much complete with this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and run this thing, make sure everything sounds good, and from here on out we'll still replace the seat cover. As you can see I'm having the foam try to drain out as much as possible. But in truth, I need to peel this wrap off and go ahead and try to fix that right there. But other than that, this thing is coming together. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so here's the seat cover. Peel the skin off. So I got this broken tab right here that appears to have been broken. So I'm gonna try to see if I can put a metal plate in there and try to screw it both together. See what we can do there. But here's the seat cover for it. It's from Black Tip Jet Sports. So we'll go ahead and slap this thing on. And there's all the staples pulled out. And there's a staple gun, so we should be ready to go. Alrighty guys, as you can tell, the seat cover is completely finished. Got it all buttoned up, stapled up. Got that tab fixed up on this side right here. Give it a nice, good, like a weld, plastic weld, and I put like 2 extra pieces on both sides of plastic, and I screwed it all together, and it looks pretty good. But the seat is all good to go. This thing fires right up, good to go. Pump is completely all put together. Everything works like it should, and pretty stoked. It turned out pretty good. And let's see if this thing will start. Might need to put the camera down, but let's see. Alrighty, got this fancy dancy right here, but other than that, I'm good to go. Guys, if you like this little episode of doing a little quick rebuild, one video on this thing, smash the like button. And also guys, check out my Instagram page, Built to Run. So we'll guys see you in the next video. Peace out. Guys, here out the lake and testing this puppy out, and she's running pretty good, giving a good kick. Let's give it a good start. Hey, got the water flag working. Fine, good.